Hey guys, Brooke and Laura here. We are doing our first Lawyering Outside the Lines live show on our MyVirtual.Lawyer page. For those of you who don't know, we actually had a separate page specifically for attorneys that was mostly dedicated to this show, but we're restructuring a few things and want to make sure we're reaching the most people that we can reach. And so we starting today, have moved our Lawyering Outside the Lines live show, which is coming up on its 1-year anniversary, to this Facebook page. So make sure that you are tuning in here on Tuesdays. But last week on our live show, if you did not see it, we talked about setting intentions and not resolutions. And also kind of talked about our mantra for the year. And our mantra for this year is less is more. And every time we say something, we kind of get in our head like, oh, that's not okay. We have to be tackling all those things. And then one of us will go, no, less is more. We just like stop ourselves and bring it back. So if you're anything like us, when you're stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, it can be really hard to even really decide where to start, especially like coming back from break. Laura and I actually for once took a real break over the holidays, and we were just like, there's so many things. Where do we even get started? And it was hard for us to even get started. So by simplifying your task though, and organizing your responsibilities, it means, there's less mess, there's more productivity. And so a few steps that we're actually taking to kind of follow our mantra, that was hard to say, follow, that's what I said, follow our mantra. Follow our mantra is to actually, simplify things. We're paring down our technology, which is making it better for us, better for our clients. We're really focusing on our systems, our processes, and getting to some of those things that were line item 101 on our to-do list that really would make all the other things maybe even disappear on our list, simplifying our services. That way we're really putting out there who we are, what we want to do, and giving our best selves to you guys, whether you're an attorney working with us, for our clients. And also we're restructuring internally. So for us, it's all about less is more. And today we're kind of diving into how doing less can actually make you more productive and happy. And so the first thing, when I say doing less, I don't mean like be lazy and just decide not to do things. What I'm really talking about is focusing, getting focused, because we talk to a lot of attorneys, and some attorneys, it's great because there's an enthusiasm, especially in kind of the alternative services like we do, legal tech world, get really super excited. There's a shiny thing over here and we got to be the first in, and that's great. But that's not always the best approach. And so when your attention is spread across multiple tasks or things, it really is counterproductive. And so overloading your plate and then forcing yourself to, complete things quickly on a deadline, it's not only going to overwhelm you, but it draws your attention in all these different directions, and it actually slows you down. You get started and then you get distracted and then you start again. And it really does take a lot longer to complete the things if you're even getting to the things. So really what you need to do is get a strategy in place, kind of a system for organizing your task and completing them. So, if you have a to-do list with 57 items listed, it's just going to make you want to stick your head in the sand. You're going to want to break those tasks into little manageable steps and prioritize them and focus on them one at a time. What really helps me to knock things out is to knock things out that I can do quickly first. Sometimes we have the tendency of putting things off, like, okay, here's this one little thing I need to go do, and it's something that's mundane. You may not really want to do it. You think I can do it quickly, so you procrastinate it. If you can get it done in 3 minutes or less, do it. Just knock it out, get it done. And then after that, there are things that may be bigger items that should be a higher priority, and I know that, but I don't want to do them. So the things I don't want to do start moving down my list. And I'm like, I just do that tomorrow, if I don't necessarily have some kind of a strict deadline to do them, or things I don't enjoy doing as much. And so I end up procrastinating those things. So if you put those at the top of your list, and prioritize those, knock those out first, you're not only going to have a little bit of sense of relief, but you've already gotten that out of the way, and you can move on and move through things a little bit more quickly. And then you organize everything else that's remaining, all the other tasks on your list by day. I start every day with a list of things that have to get done that day. And that way, yes, I may have 57 things to do this week, but these are the things that I'm getting done today. So that makes it less overwhelming, makes it more manageable, and it helps me to kind of bring my attention and my best self to the task at hand.
And just to kind of piggyback on what Brooke just said is, number 2 thing we'll talk about is have a goal to do those 5 things per day. So like Brooke said, she wakes up in the morning and here are the things that I want to get accomplished today. The to-do list, if you're anything like every other human in the world, your to-do list just never seems to end. It goes on and on and on. And Brooke's 57 tasks, when you don't complete all of those 57 tasks and, on any given day you feel like a failure and you dread looking at that list again the next day, and then it's a vicious cycle because the next day you don't want to do the stuff. And so it just keeps growing, you keep adding to the list. And if you're not taking anything off, it can really be overwhelming. So if you decide in the morning to focus on 5 tasks, it can be whatever number you feel comfortable with, but don't make it too big. 5 things that you want to do each day. You can write them down a week ahead of time. You can write them down in the morning just based on how you feel that day, but write them down separately from your regular to-do list. I keep my to-do list on my phone, but I actually do my tasks of what I want to do that day on a notepad. As tech-friendly as we are, I'm still in my 40s and I like my paper. So that's where I put my thing so that I can manually check off that thing that I got done today. And then I can go to my phone later and, mark it as completed. But start with the most important task first and work your way down. It's, what is important, you'll have to decide that for yourself. It's, that client's been waiting the longest for this particular document, or you need to get bills paid, or whatever it might be. Complete each task fully before moving along. That's a huge one for me. When I worked in corporate America world, I used to have to turn off my all of my notifications and my internet and everything in order to respond to emails. Because if I tried to do it while everything else was flooding in, I couldn't get anything done because I don't have the ability to not stop and go do the thing that just came in. So I would actually shut off my internet in order to respond to emails each morning so that I could actually get them done instead of just them going further and further down the list of emails. So, it's really important to complete each task fully before moving along. And if you do that daily, then you might have knocked out 25 of your 57 tasks in 1 week. So that 57 tasks is going to go to 68 or something like that, but that's fine because you're knocking out those 25 tasks each week. If your to-do list gets too big over those 25 things, then you can really should consider hiring or outsourcing some of the work. Brooke and I outsource a lot of things, and it's just been so amazing for our mental health to have somebody else who can do things actually do those things as opposed to the things that are necessary for us to do. There's value in prioritizing your time. So where is your best time spent? Where is it best to have your time spent versus things that are just needing to get done? And we hear people talk about the fact that do you work for your company or do you own your company? And Brooke and I both got in kind of a funk of working for our company the first year that we were partners. But even though we fell back into it a little bit here and there, we definitely are in a place where we recognize where we're best used and outsource things that that can be done by somebody else. So, yeah, okay, let's go. I got off my task list. So prioritizing your time, it's important because you can't do all the things just because you can't. Like, you might be able to, but is it really necessary to do all the things? So just because you can doesn't mean you should. And draining your energy like that on a consistent basis will eventually lead to burnout, which I think a lot of us have experienced. I definitely have. I know Brooke definitely has. Draining your energy like that on a consistent basis is just not a good idea. So, so keep that in mind. Also, it's really important to give yourself some grace. If you don't get through the 5 a day and one rolls over to the next day, that's fine. Then take that 6th one and add it to your 5 for the next day, but prioritize those 6 instead of prioritizing the original 5. So give yourself grace. You're not always going to complete everything that you want to do. It's just the reality. Things pop up. Something's harder than, or takes more time than you thought it would, whatever it might be. Just give yourself grace. And I like to say a break, and just go forth and conquer. Third thing we want to talk about is going back and forth between tasks is very counterproductive because you lose your focus. There are all sorts of things that can go wrong with this. In our society, we look at the ability to multitask as an asset, and people often boast about the ability on resumes and job interviews about how they can multitask. Multitasking as a coveted skill is a red flag to us. Brooke knows very well, and for any of you who know me or we're friends on Facebook, you know that multitasking is not my thing. I've never tried to say that I was good at it because I suck at multitasking. It's really honestly not the most efficient use of our time, and it's not the most productive way to work. Brooke will be telling me this great idea, and she knows that I'm actually not listening to her at all. She's just talking it out for herself. Because if I'm doing something else, if I'm, crafting or whatever on the, while she's telling me this amazing idea, she knows that she's talking it out for herself so that she can pull out those key bits that she wants to tell me later when I'm actually paying attention. So I have this meme that I sometimes post on Facebook that, yes, I'm multitasking. I'm ignoring you. I don't even remember what those are. I should have looked that up before our live, but I'm ignoring you. I'm, working on something else and this, and that's me multitasking. Just kind of a little funny there. Focusing on, to get back to what we're talking about, focusing on just a few tasks intentionally, one at a time, and very intently looking at that one specific thing. It's a better approach than tackling a lot of different projects at the same time and hopping between busy work and communications. I'm the worst at that, and I've really struggled with that in my career, as a lot of us probably have. But if I take the time to, okay, I'm just going to sit and do this. A lot of times I'll draft at night because then I'm not getting that influx of emails and things like that. And it's just gonna save you a lot of stress and trouble, and you're gonna have a better work product in the end.
Absolutely. So basically what we're trying to tell you here is do less. That'll make you awesome. And in 2020, we intend to do less and do better for our clients and ourselves, to produce better work product, to run a more efficient business, to be more impactful and effective for ourselves and our clients. So thank you guys for joining us on our first day doing Lawyering Outside the Lines on our MyVirtual.Lawyer Facebook page. We will be here every Tuesday. If you don't know, we do our live shows on Tuesdays at noon Central. And so that's going to be 1 Eastern, noon Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific time. And so typically we kind of promo these out. We're in the middle of this transition. So hopefully we can get everybody moved over, and we'll be here next week. So we hope you can join us again. Thanks so much, and have a great day, and do less.